Welcome to episode 653 of the Entertainment 2.0 podcast, brought to you by thedigitalmediazone.com. I'm Josh Pollard.
And I'm Richard Gunther, and this is the show that puts you in control of your favorite movies, music, shows, and games.
Welcome back, Richard. It's always more fun to have you here in person.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed last week. It was just a weird scheduling week, but I'm glad to be back. And I think it's going to be a fairly short one because, well, you know, it's that time of the summer.
It's July, right? Yeah. Not a great time to be a hockey fan, and apparently not a great time to be a tech podcaster either.
Oh, wow. One of the 2 months that you don't have hockey during the year.
Right. You know, we could have produced a very long podcast this week and dozens of news articles over at thedigitalmediazone.com if we behaved like every other website on the planet. We could have just done episode after episode after episode about Amazon Prime Day.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, talking about products that you could then follow our affiliate links to at Amazon.
Right. Which, yeah, I don't want to talk too much trash. Like, I do still encourage people to click our Amazon affiliate links, but
totally. And this might be a good time to remind people that if they don't know that, if we have affiliate links on the site, if you bookmark that and use that as your way of getting to Amazon, that helps us out tremendously.
Tremendously. And it doesn't cost you a dime. It's win-win for everybody. Okay. Well, we've got you back this week. We've got the live show back this week. We've got listener feedback this week. So while there may not be a ton of news, there's still a lot of other great things happening here. If you want to send us some email for a future episode, you can do that at entertainment20@thedigitalmediazone.com. So Kyle wrote to us in a couple of ways. First, he sent us some email, and then he hit us up on Mastodon, which we'll have all of our information about Mastodon, all of that stuff at the end of the show. But you could also, if you're watching this on YouTube, after you, of course, click that like and subscribe button, you could leave comments there too, and we will read those as well. So let's jump into this message from Kyle. He says, "Hello, Josh and Richard. I'm looking for a soundbar to pair with a Samsung Frame TV. We are by no means audiophiles or videophiles. We've been using a 37-inch LG TV for about 12 years with only the built-in speakers. The Frame TV is certainly an upgrade and a major expense, but the design of the TV really matches a recent renovation to our house. We're looking at the 55-inch model. The room it's going in is only 13 by 22. I don't know why I said only. He didn't say only. It's not that small.
Yeah, I was thinking only?
Right. That's not a tiny room. So it's 13 by 22. The main thing we want out of the soundbar is improved audio dialogue quality. We're looking to spend less than $300. Inputs include a Windows 10 home theater PC, wow, an Xbox Series S, Nintendo Wii, wow, Google Chromecast, and sometimes a Blu-ray player. We don't have a great space to put a subwoofer in. Can we get a decent soundbar that does not require a subwoofer? So far, one interesting option I found is the Creative Sound Blaster Katana SE. He also says, I've also wondered if I should consider smart home features with this purchase as well. We use Samsung phones and Google Home Voice Assistant. It might be cool to have a soundbar that can group audio with our Google Home. I appreciate any feedback or suggestions you have." First off, thanks for reaching out and asking us, Kyle. Now, over on Mastodon, Richard, you asked a really important question about this.
Do you remember what that question was? That was days ago.
It was days ago. It was like this weekend. So you asked, are you wall mounting the soundbar?
Oh, right.
And it was a question that he hadn't put that much thought into, and at first thought it might be cool, and then thought, this is a really thin TV. It might stick out really far and that might look weird.
Yep. And part of the reason that I asked that is that I recalled that there used to be some really good, very thin profile soundbars from Yamaha that, and I think they were some of the first Dolby certified 5.1 or 5.0 soundbars that ever existed. I had one in my old home and they were amazing, but they don't make them anymore. So that really wasn't an option. So I know you did a little bit of research too, and had a suggestion as well as a place to go find out some more options.
Yeah, so I actually have a couple of thoughts here. We'll start with what is probably the right answer. And what I did is, when it comes to home theater gear, but me especially, like to go over to CNET, especially if Dave Katzmeyer is involved. If it's a TV, I want to know what he thinks. This isn't a TV, but I still trust CNET, and I should probably also put out there that I work for the parent company of CNET, so there is some, I don't have any influence on CNET, but anyway, I liked them for years long before I started working for their parent company. So anyway, I was like, what do they say are the best sound bars right now? Because I don't spend a lot of time digging into sound bars. And what they recommend as like kind of the best all-around soundbar without spending $1 bajillion is the Klipsch Cinema 400. Now, this article that I'm linking to, it was updated this year, but in the article they say like this thing is about to be replaced with a new model. And so you can get it for less money in some places. Walmart still has it for $300. I found it on Amazon, a renewed model for $200, which comes in even cheaper than what you were looking to spend.
Nice.
It does include a subwoofer, but most of them do. It is wireless, so you can put it anywhere. Like he said that he isn't sure if he's got room for a subwoofer, but they're not typically required. I don't know that for sure, but I don't know why it would be required, So my thought is get one with a subwoofer and try putting it in a few places. And if it meets the aesthetic and if it happens to sound good where it is, then cool. And if it doesn't, well then okay, shove it in a closet and don't use it, I guess. But if you can use it, you're absolutely going to appreciate the sound. From the aesthetic point of view, what I've been thinking is you probably don't want to do a wall mount soundbar for a TV. Like if you were buying the frame TV, you are buying it for the aesthetics. It is a different kind of TV. You are obviously trying to go for a specific design in your living room where you're putting this TV. And I don't know how you're going to do that with a soundbar and still get the look that you're going for. So I think that you're probably going to want to have a piece of furniture below the TV that you're going to put a soundbar on. And I think it's probably going to look better.
You're going to have that anyway, because somewhere near the TV, you have a control box that's connected by the fiber cable, probably through the wall, I'm assuming.
Right.
So presumably that's on a piece of furniture. And
with his home theater PC, his Xbox, his Wii.
Exactly.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
So leverage the top of that as your home for your sound bar, and hopefully it's a wide enough piece of furniture. And if it's not, maybe rethink what you're using there.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you don't have to go crazy trying to find the perfect wall mountable solution. I don't think it's what you're actually going to want. So look at regular sound bars. Now, the really cynical part of me wanted to say, dude, you've been watching a TV using its built-in TV speakers for 12 years? Maybe you don't really care. Like, just go and buy whatever works for not a lot of money. and it's still it's almost definitely still going to be better than the speakers that were in the TV that you're replacing, and will almost certainly be better than what the frame TV provides. So, but I didn't want to go that route. That's why I wanted to see what some options are out there. And I do think that like this Klipsch option would work. If you want to go even less expensive, there is a Vizio soundbar on this list. Vizio is known for their soundbars being pretty good for the price, like good value soundbars. That's been true for many, many years. So I guess my answer is kind of a combination of kind of just do whatever because it's still going to be better than what you've had. But also, if you do want something a little bit better, maybe check out this Klipsch one, because also on Mastodon, he said that one thing that's really important is hearing people, the dialogue. Dialogue is what I was looking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this one is supposed to produce really clear dialogue. So that's what I would recommend.
I guess the one thing that I would just make sure you're aware of as you're diving into this soundbar world is that obviously the way that these devices create a surround experience is by bouncing sound off of walls, either the walls to the side or the walls behind you, to create a reflective audio effect. If this is going into a room that is open on one or more sides, that surround experience will not be ideal. And that's just what most people with soundbars live with. Right. Because the soundbar ideal location in most homes is for the family room TV.
Yeah.
And that's where mine is. That's where most people's are. If you're using it there, just be aware of the fact that you're not going to get perfect 5-1 because you don't have 4 walls around you and you only enter that room with one door. Or maybe you do. Maybe this is a home theater room. I don't know.
Right.
But I expect it's probably not.
But it's also a 13 by 22 foot long room. And if he's putting it at the long end of a room, like, you can kiss the surround sound experience goodbye with it trying to reflect off of a wall that's 22 feet away.
But if your concern is, I really want to hear what they're saying, then not only should that not matter, but there's less audio distraction from that dialogue.
Right. The other thing that he mentioned was like, could I get Google Home into this? Like, this soundbar that I threw out here, it doesn't have any Google Smarts in it. The Vizio one doesn't have any Google Smarts in it. If you have one of the older Google, now I can't remember the name. Was it just Google Chromecast? No, not, like the little one that there was just a circle. It was just a speaker and microphone, and you could pair them via Bluetooth to another device. If you have one of those still, because they don't make them anymore, you could potentially pair that with these soundbars, and both of the soundbars that I'm talking about here have Bluetooth, so you could get what you're looking for using that sort of arrangement. But otherwise, if that's something that's really interesting to you, then you're probably going to have to specifically go out and seek a soundbar out that has the Google Voice Assistant built in.
Well, and I think that's going to add some cost. Now, I do want to point out that over the years, we have spoken pretty highly about Polk audio soundbars. And many of the Polk audio soundbars do include the option of having either Amazon or Google's Assistant on board. So that might be another option to consider, to look into options from Polk. The audio is not going to be as good as it is from something from Klipsch, but it will have more of those types of features.
Yeah. So I am going to put an Amazon affiliate link to this Klipsch speaker in the show notes for you to check out, or anybody else who wants to do some Amazon shopping. Okay, so let's move on to the news, and let's start by going back to talk about hockey again, Richard.
How? How did we get there?
It's great. I'm going to see how many more stories about hockey I can somehow squeeze into this. I don't think it's going to happen. But this is a really cool and interesting story, I think. So we've talked at various times over the last couple of years about Diamond Sports, who owns Bally Sports, basically struggling to not completely go out of business. And why that matters is because the Bally Sports networks are like the regional sports network TV providers in a lot of US markets. So Detroit is one of those markets. So if you're going to watch Detroit Red Wings games on television, you would have done that through the Bally Sports channel from your cable provider. And then it'd be blacked out in other situations and all of that craziness. But these Bally Sports networks are going under like crazy. And the Dallas market was one of the ones that used Bally. And so they're walking away from Bally. And they're doing something a little bit different than what a lot of the other providers are doing. They are partnering with a company out of Canada, which makes sense, that is building them a streaming service specifically for Dallas Stars content. So you will go to this new streaming service that doesn't even really exist yet to go and watch Dallas Stars games. That's not that crazy or new. The thing that is, I think, kind of cool and new about this is it is a fast provider. It is a free ad-supported television provider. You're not going to pay. The service is called Victory Plus, by the way. You're not going to have to pay $10 a month, $20 a month, $30 a month to watch Dallas Stars games. You're going to pay $0 a month. You're just going to watch ads, which you would see ads anyway. If you're using ESPN Plus to watch hockey games right now, you're getting ads at commercial breaks. Like, that's not weird. That's normal. So you're going to have ads in the hockey games that you want to watch for free. There are some limitations here. Like, it's only for the Dallas Stars. It's not every hockey team out there in the world. And it's only, if you want to watch the actual hockey games, it's really only for people in the Dallas TV market, which does include some of like Oklahoma and Louisiana and Arkansas and stuff like that. Because it's not like any of those cities or states have hockey teams to watch, so they can watch the Stars. And if you aren't in one of those markets, you can still watch the service and see all of the other content that's out there. You just can't watch the actual hockey games. You can watch everything else, just not the hockey games. So, new service coming out. It'll be releasing in September, which is good because, hockey season starts in October. Richard, there's one other thing that I want to talk about with this arrangement, and that would be the parent company of Victory Plus, because the name of the parent company is a parent media company. I just love this. I love the name of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's as if they didn't even try to hide the corporate shenanigans that go on with like corporate child and parent structures. It's just ridiculous.
It's hilarious, and I love it. I hope that this works for them, because if this does, this could be great for sports fans around the country. Bally Sports did have their own streaming service. I want to say it was $20 a month, and it still only got you your local channel.
You're talking about all of that in past tense?
Well, I mean, I guess maybe it's still around, and I'm partly talking past tense because it's not hockey season, and I really only associate these with their hockey teams. So I know that you can watch Red Wings games this way. My neighbor subscribed to that Bally Sports service so that he could watch Red Wings games. For me, I just subscribe to ESPN Plus, and I don't care about being blacked out of local market games because I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan and I don't live in the Pittsburgh viewing market. So I'm fine. But I would love to see more of this happen. Like, I think this would be really great, because if they can make the money back from being an ad-supported model in a way that really doesn't feel any different, it's not like switching from Netflix without ads to Netflix with ads here. You can't watch sports without ads. So it's basically the same experience you've been getting, but you're getting it for free. That's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. As long as the ads just aren't obnoxious. And my concern on most of these ad-supported services is that the string of ads that you get is oftentimes just terrible.
That's true.
Including repeats. Like,
yeah,
you watch an ad and then you watch the exact same ad immediately after the first time you saw the ad.
Right.
So as long as it doesn't go down that path, then yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. Well, if you are a listener of ours in the Dallas market, you'll have to let us know how Victory Plus works out for you this fall. Okay, let's move on to even more sad news, more sad than the Bally situation, I think. We have to say goodbye to a long-lost friend. I say long-lost because I haven't used them in years. Redbox, officially going away here. Their parent
for reals
company,
this time.
Yeah, for reals this time. Their parent company, Chicken Soup for the Soul. I'd forgotten that was the company that owned Redbox.
Good grief.
Oh man, we're really killing it with the parent companies in this episode.
Yeah.
So Chicken Soup for the Soul is filing for bankruptcy, but not the type of bankruptcy that we're used to. It's not Chapter 11, which is normally where they just try and make some deals with their debtors and come back. No, this is Chapter 7. Like, they're just calling it quits. So Redbox is for sure toast. Like, I mean, they could sell the brand, I suppose, but I think that's unlikely. Like, I do think this is the actual end of Redbox. And so all of their roughly 1,000 employees have been let go after barely even getting paychecks over the last couple of months. They're liquidating all of their assets. That includes 24,000 of these kiosks that they've had around the country. And
ooh, that could be fun in a rec room.
It could be. Yeah, maybe Kyle could get one of those and put a sound bar on top of the kiosk. No, don't do that.
Let's not go there. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, I just envision this kind of hobby community building around retrofitting these connected boxes and basically turning them into movie vending machines in home theaters and stuff. I think that could be pretty cool.
It could be really fun. Really fun. So, I think for you and I mean, I probably shouldn't speak for you, but for me, my first thought was okay, I'm sad to see it go, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really impact me. I haven't rented anything from Redbox in 5 years, 6, 7 years. It's been a really long time. But there are people that don't have great internet access, or maybe just don't have the money to be paying for a bunch of streaming services as the cost for all of these things go up. And being able to occasionally rent a movie from Redbox was a cheap way of getting access to new movies. And even for a time period, they had video games, but they stopped doing that a couple of years ago too. So here's the solution. Hopefully you live near a library. Most public libraries have movies and you can get them for free. And most of the libraries that I've been to over the last few years have had quite a nice collection of movies that you can borrow for
check
free.
Out.
Yeah. So head to your library, see what options you've got there. And frankly, you might be surprised at all of the other stuff that libraries have nowadays. Uh, Check out the movies, of course, but they also have like audiobooks that you can, you don't even have to go to the library to get audiobooks or ebooks directly on your phone for free from your library. We talk about that a lot. You can get video games from lots of libraries. You can borrow musical instruments and yard games and like all sorts of crazy stuff at libraries nowadays. So check out your library.
That's a great suggestion. Also, if you are using streaming services, don't forget about Canopy. Many libraries offer video streaming through Canopy, which is a video service that partners with all these libraries and has a huge collection of stuff. A lot of it is kind of cerebral, a lot of documentaries, a lot of classic movies, but it is the home of the Criterion Collection these days. So there's a lot of really, really good movies out there that are worth folks' time. I don't know how I feel about this. So, we have, I think, reached the point where the utility of a service like this has so dwindled. You talk about people who may not have great internet. Yeah, we are kind of, that we're getting better at that. We're getting better at getting internet out to folks. I also think about just folks like my parents' age. When my mom was alive, she could do a DVD, but there's no way she could do a streaming service, right? That just wasn't going to happen. So this is the kind of thing that might have appealed to folks of a certain age who are aging out. So I do think like that in general, the audience for this has dwindled so much. Now, that doesn't necessarily excuse what appears to be all of the corruption that led to this company's demise, because it's just more than decreased demand that was responsible for them going under. But I'm okay saying goodbye.
Yeah, for sure. It was time, unfortunately. All right. Well, how about some 4K streaming?
Yeah, so while we're talking about streaming services, Sling TV, which is one of the ways that you can get cable-like service through a streaming service, and I had Sling TV for a while, is now experimenting, I will say, with 4K streams. How are they doing this? Well, it's very limited right now. They started with the MLB All-Star game this week. That's not the MLB game with the awful rendition of the national anthem, but actually this one was good. And in fact, what they're going to be doing is rolling out 4K to customers that have the Blue service on specific sports events. So it's limited to sports. Right now, it's going to be the Olympics and maybe some NFL. And I think there's been some discussion about maybe some college football games as well. So very limited availability right now. But this is really good because, you and I, Josh, have talked many, many times about where 4K shines is in sports events. Like getting that live TV experience with sports in 4K is just phenomenal. I would love to see the Olympics in 4K. I don't even know if Peacock is going to make it available in 4K. Do you recall?
I'm pretty sure they are.
Okay. I hope so, because that's how I plan on watching the Olympics.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah. And you're saying, but wait a minute, you have YouTube TV. You could watch 4K sports if you wanted to through YouTube TV. Yes, I could, but I have to pay for it with YouTube TV. YouTube TV. If I want 4K service added to YouTube TV, it's an additional $10 a month. Sling is including what they're doing, for now anyway, for free, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is the part that I think is the best about this. And the fact that you get it for free compared to YouTube TV charging $10 a month for it, do I remember that when they first rolled it out, it was $20 a month?
I honestly don't know because I have never considered paying it.
Right. I seem to remember that it was, and then they were like decreased it because probably no one was willing to pay $20 a month for a limited subset of content available in 4K. I think that even if you are paying for the $10 add-on to YouTube TV, it's still not everything. I think it's still mostly just sports.
Yeah.
Right? So
I believe so.
It's probably the similar set of content. Like I don't think that YouTube TV has exponentially more 4K content than Sling is offering, is my guess.
I would expect that is ultimately true once this rolls out the way that they're saying that it will. Now, there are two major constraints on this, for now anyway. The first is that to enjoy this, you're going to need to live in one of specific major metropolitan areas. So in the Los Angeles area, Chicago, New York City, and other major cities. This is not going to every single customer, no matter where you are. There's a reason for that. It's because this is basically games that are shown in 4K through Fox. Right? Like this is stuff that's available, I think, through Fox and then shown on ESPN or something. I forget exactly what the relationship is there.
Yeah. So that aspect of the reporting of this has been a little unclear. I think that the articles that talk about, these are the 15 cities or whatever where you can watch this, I think that might be actually referring to the MLB All-Star game. That those are the markets.
Just that.
Yes.
Interesting.
And that everything else, it will probably not be in every market, but like you said, in the markets that happen to be broadcasting an event in 4K, then you'll get it. That would be my guess, but I don't know for sure. Like the wording in even the official announcement from Sling is really unclear.
Okay. Well, so I brought you down a little bit, and then you brought us up a little bit. So I'm going to bring you down again. To enjoy this, you also need to have specific Roku or Amazon Fire TV devices. Apple TV, sorry. Google TV, sorry. Any of these integrated apps on your TVs, real sorry.
Wow.
So that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. I didn't even click that link in this because I just assumed, it's going to be basically everything.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a total of like 7 devices.
Right. It's all of the Roku 4K devices and all of the 4K Fire TVs. That's it. What the heck? Come on. Hopefully that'll be resolved quickly.
Right. I look at this as a good first step, and I can't complain too much because they're adding it for free to some customers in some areas on some devices. If it is well received, maybe they'll have a reason to expand it. Maybe people will say, well, hey, I can get 4K on Sling. I'll switch from YouTube. And that might encourage them to expand their device and market coverage.
So what do you think of the chances that this causes YouTube TV to stop charging extra for it?
Ooh, I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, I don't honestly know, because I have to say, this is a legit, in my opinion, this is a legit reason to charge more. because your costs are more. To deliver 4K does in fact cost more.
Right.
So I get that. I just wasn't going to pay it because I have no interest in 4K sports.
Right. Because you have no interest in sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except the Olympics. I do like to watch the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm waiting for the Olympics that I care about, the cold ones.
Yeah, I do prefer the cold ones.
where they play hockey. See, I found another way to talk about hockey.
Back to hockey.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if they do expand their offerings. I was able to find the list of providers that YouTube TV does support. Now, it's not everything on all of these channels, but they do have select content on YouTube TV in 4K from Discovery, which probably means that they'll have the Olympics in 4K on YouTube TV. ESPN, Fox Sports, FX, Nat Geo, NBC Sports, Tastemade, and NBA TV. So there you go. All right. That is definitely more than Sling TV. Okay, let's move on to our gaming news. This will be a very short one this week. A few months ago, we talked about how Xbox had announced that they are closing the Xbox 360 store. And this sounds more confusing than it actually is. But two important things from this story. The first one is you're still going to be able to play games. You're just not going to be able to buy Xbox 360 games and DLC once the store closes on July 29th. But anything that you've purchased prior to that, you're still going to be able to play on an Xbox 360. If it's backwards compatible, you'll be able to play it on an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X or S. So you can still play these things. You just won't be able to buy them after the 29th. So this is partially public service announcement. But the other thing is they're being super cool about how they're closing the store. They're doing a massive fire sale. It's basically like a digital going out of business sale. And the deals are insane. Like most of these games cost less than $1. And the ones that are more than $1 are probably less than $2 with pretty rare exceptions. So it's not like it's every game that was ever released on Xbox 360. It's for sure a much smaller subset. But give yourself 3 minutes, click the link in our show notes, and go look at the list of games that are available for dirt cheap. And buy the ones that you want before July 29th, and then be able to play them wherever, because you'll still have access to them.
Yeah, that's very cool. I bet the team that is responsible for maintaining these servers and embedding that experience into the existing store is going to be so happy when this shuts down.
So happy. Yeah. Everyone loves shutting down old infrastructure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, well, that's it for our news this week. Richard, let's jump into what's going on in our entertainment centers.
All right, I hinted at this the last time that we talked about this, which is the deal that Verizon was offering on YouTube Premium, where Verizon internet customers, no matter what kind of internet you got, whether it was mobile, whether it was Fios through one of those mobile weird things that you said was terrible, whatever the delivery mechanism, you would be able to take advantage of a $10 a month deal for premium. And that's monthly. So paying monthly and yet still getting a price much cheaper, well, $3 cheaper than the equivalent annual price by month. Following the math? So
and to be clear, you are talking about YouTube Premium here.
YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
YouTube Premium, the thing that you and I have said for years, nope, not paying for that. And the primary reason, well, for me, it was two things. For me, it was, I don't need another music service. So why would I pay for something that includes a service that I don't need? And that's a large part of the cost. And B, just the idea of paying to watch YouTube really, really annoys me. But you know what annoys me more? The obnoxious way that YouTube has rolled out ads on all of the videos that I watch, because I primarily watch them on my television. And they are intentionally making the television viewing experience of YouTube much worse.
Yeah, it's so bad.
So that you are incentivized to perhaps pay them money. Otherwise, they're making the money up through the ads. So I gave in. And at $10 a month, I said, yeah, I can't resist that. And I'm not looking back, but I am still licking my wounds from the sign up experience, because I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't understand these large companies that offer all of these services, put this stuff out there, and then their websites just aren't ready to deal with it. Whether it's AT&T or Verizon or Spectrum, and disclaimer, for years, I had Time Warner Cable, now Spectrum Charter. As a client, they just can't seem to create a nice experience that's reliable and doesn't seem like it's just a patchwork of stuff that's been tied together and you're wading through multiple redirects to get one page embedded in another page to another service that may or may not actually come up. And in fact, that's what this experience was like. Trying to do this on mobile, I tried to use the mobile app to sign up for this. That was a disaster, an absolute disaster. It just hung there, and then it came up with the help bubble with a supposedly live person that said, "Oh, well, I got your information right here. I can go ahead and make the change." I said, "Yeah, but my change to add YouTube somehow deleted and then re-added my phone service? No. I'm not going to complete that transaction. I don't trust that you're not going to screw something up."
Yeah.
Because that's what happened. Then I went on the web and I tried to do it on the web. And that ended up hanging for a while as I tried to do that. Well, it turned out that it didn't so much hang as it's just really, really slow. So maybe it was a popular deal and a lot of people were doing it because every step of the way, saying that I wanted it, and then getting to a point where it could tell you, okay, you can pay for it now. Took like 5-10 minutes. I had said that I wanted it, but it didn't show up in my cart as something that I could pay for a while. Then finally it shows up. So now I'm back on the help service and they're trying to help me. And I'm like, no, but you don't understand. I did that and this is not happening. So finally it shows up. I pay for it. It comes out and it says, okay, great. You have YouTube Premium. I'm like, no, I don't. How do I actually get it? What do I need to do? Again, took another 10-15 minutes till the link showed up that said, you have YouTube Premium, that let me click through to a place where I could actually sign up for it. And then when I did that, that didn't work for another 10 minutes. I am not exaggerating. I'm not kidding about this. The whole thing was a friggin' disaster. It took more than half an hour. I think I just accounted for about 40 minutes of time for me to be able to sign up for this, pay for it, and then enable it on my YouTube account. It was just absolutely ridiculous. So poorly implemented. There's got to be a better way. So just warning y'all.
I can't believe how, I'm not surprised that it was bad. I'm shocked that it was that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be prepared. Just have some time available to get through the experience and be patient. Hopefully that gets better. We'll see. I don't have a lot of confidence. So I also forgot to talk last time that we recorded that I had set up my On Pro Google TV box. You and I both bought this thing. We were both playing with it a little bit. You talked about the remote a little bit on one of the episodes that I missed and talked about how the remote's okay. It wasn't great. I'm actually pretty happy with it. remember, I've been using a Chromecast with Google TV, and that remote, as far as I'm concerned, is useless. It has fewer buttons than the Apple TV remote does. So, well, except for the paid versions that go to Netflix and YouTube. Well, if YouTube really pays Google, whatever that inner company money transfer thing is. But I am actually really happy with the remote. I'm really happy with the box. It was easy to set up because I already have a Google TV account, if that's a thing, but it somehow knew that I already had all of these services that I watch on Google TV, and I was already signed into a bunch of the stuff. So that was nice. So setup was really easy compared to, I don't know, just throwing another Fire TV box in somewhere. So I'm really happy with it. I haven't used the assistant on it yet to see how well integrated that experience is. It seems performant, so that's great. It's, that's one of my complaints about the Chromecast with Google TV is that it's just laggy. So have you had any further experience with this, or are you using it at all, or are you just back to your normal NVIDIA?
Yeah, we're using it full time. The NVIDIA is still there and plugged. Well, it's plugged in to power and the network because it's still the Plex server and stuff like that. But no, it's not even plugged in directly to the TV anymore. We're just using this device. Yeah, the performance has been great. We have used the voice assistant a couple of times. For whatever reason, the Google Nest Hub or whatever it's called that's in our kitchen tends to respond more, which I don't know, it's kind of annoying. I've seen it light up and it's heard me, but it's still the thing in the kitchen that's responding a lot of the time. So I don't know, whatever, but it does work. And we used the little find the remote button this past weekend.
Oh,
and that worked well.
Cool.
So yeah, I have no complaints with this device other than the fact that HDMI CEC did not work for me.
Okay, so about that, same on my Samsung Frame TV.
Okay.
So I think they've just implemented it wrong, and hopefully they'll get a fix out.
That would be nice because I do like, I mean, it's such a dumb problem to complain about, but I don't like having to point for IR for controlling things.
No, totally. And it's just for volume and power, right? The other controls
and
work
input.
okay.
Yeah, but yes.
And input. Yeah. But the normal, the other normal controls seem to work fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I hopefully they will get a fix out for that. I can't imagine that they wouldn't. All right. Yeah. So what have I been watching? Well, I am very, 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 very happy that The Bear is back. Season 3 of The Bear is back on Hulu. I am, I believe, about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through, something like that. Neither of those aligns with the actual number of episodes of the season, but whatever. So happy about that. It is a fantastic season. Really good. We started watching not a new show exactly, but new for us. And the tie-in here, believe it or not, is Schitt's Creek. So we loved Schitt's Creek. And one of the things in Schitt's Creek, one of the themes centered around a local motel, because they stayed in a local motel. And they discussed and kind of expanded on the renaissance of the small town motel. This show on, I think it's HGTV. I don't think this is Magnolia, but this show called Motel Rescue focuses on someone who helps small town motels basically turn themselves around to become destinations, which I think is so friggin' cool. I love this idea. I love the idea of the renaissance of the roadside motel and helping them modernize and not be these just awful, dank, undesirable last place of refuge, as opposed to a cool place that you might intentionally go to in a small town. So this is a really cool show. I hope to watch more of that. Of course, I've been watching more YouTube videos about 3D printing. I also thought it might be interesting for anybody who's in the audience who's also into 3D printing to share where they might find my stuff. So I do share stuff, I do post stuff. And if you're interested in anything that I'm sharing, I'm pretty much everywhere. So in Thingiverse, on Maker World, and I forget the name of the other place that Prusa hosts, but everywhere I am RG Makes. RG, my initials, Makes, Makes. So feel free to follow me there or check out stuff that I'm talking about on those forums. All right, back to what I've been watching. We watched some movies. We watched the new Godzilla. I don't even know how to say this. Godzilla X Kong? Is that by Kong? Godzilla by Kong? Godzilla times Kong? How do you say that?
I thought that when we did things like this, it was cross.
Cross. Okay. Godzilla cross Kong. That makes no sense. Whatever. In any event, it was fun. I mean, it's cheesy, but it was fun. If you like the Godzilla movies and the Kong movies, the new generation of there's a tie to the old films. So there is a through line from the last Kong film, which is cool. I thoroughly enjoyed this incredibly cheesy movie. So you might also. And finally, we got around to watching Encanto. We'd never watched it. I couldn't talk Edward into it. He's not a fan of musicals, even the Disney kind. So he goes into this thinking the only Disney musical that he really likes is Frozen. And is this going to live up? Well, no, not really. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I completely enjoyed this. And the whole time that I'm thinking, or that I'm listening to the songs, I'm like, man, this music is really familiar. Almost kind of has a Hamilton vibe to it. I wonder why that is. Oh, guess who did the music? Lin-Manuel Miranda.
That's right.
Funny about that. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that and glad I finally watched that. And then finally, I am still flogging my way through the book club pick for work called Fluke. And I'm just not doing well in this. There's other stuff I'd rather be listening to. So I don't know if I'm going to keep with it. But that's it for me. Josh, how about you?
Okay. Well, not a super long list for me. On the gaming side, outside of the usuals of like some NHL and some Forza Motorsport, the group that I regularly play with did go back and spend some time this weekend playing the first Descendant again. I still liked it. Not everybody else in the group was really enjoying their time there. So as a group, we probably won't be back. I might still be back. I don't know. We'll see. I enjoyed it. So we're going to be looking for something different to play. We've got some ideas. None of them are new. I will let you know what we come up with the next time after we play something. In terms of watching TV stuff or movies, no movies recently. But I did do something different. This doesn't... it felt like a novel concept for me. But I'm sure there are other people that do this. So Netflix released a new series called Receiver that profiles, it's like 4 or 5 NFL wide receivers that they followed throughout the season last year. They had done a season or a show called Quarterback that was the same thing, but with quarterbacks, obviously.
Huh.
And Like, I like football, but I'm not like the world's craziest football person. I'm not out there watching a bunch of extra football stuff. I don't even listen to a bunch of football podcasts. I listen to a Lions podcast, but that's about it. But one of the 5 receivers that they focused on was none other than Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Lions. And I'm like, well, cool. I'll check this out. Like, he's an amazing dude. I would love to know more about him.
There's a dude named after an Egyptian god?
You know, so the joke that Jen is probably tired of me making is Amon-Ra St. Brown is so good, I'm pretty sure that God was named after him.
Oh.
He's really good. He's really good. Yes, he is named after the Egyptian god. His brother, he has 2 siblings. Oh, man. One of his brothers has like a normal name, and the other one, it's also out there. I don't think it's a god, but it's like a philosopher or something like that. Their parents gave them interesting names, but yes,
okay.
Congratulations. I'm impressed that you even recognize that like this is an ancient god.
I mean, only because I watch trash movies like The Mummy and stuff.
Oh, right. So none of that is new, right? Like, people watch docu-series on Netflix all the time. The thing that I'm doing that's new to me with this is I thought, for one thing, I only care about one person on the show. I don't want to watch, because it's like 8 episodes long or whatever. And I'm like, I'm never going to get through 8 episodes if I'm watching the whole thing. So for starters, I'm going to skip around. I'm going to fast forward when it's not talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. So we'll do that. And then secondly, this isn't necessarily content that I have to have my eyeballs on, right? Because it's really more storytelling. I mean, there's some amazing catches to watch and stuff like that for sure, but it's not something I really have to be watching. So I watched the first 2 episodes, and I'm going to say watched in air quotes, on my phone while I was doing other stuff around the house. Like, I basically just treated it like a podcast.
Makes sense.
It worked out really well. So I don't know, maybe I'm going to end up watching, in air quotes again, more things on Netflix now of this type of show. Like, I'm still not going to watch like a regular movie. I'm not going to watch Godzilla this way. I'm going to sit down in front of my TV and watch something like that. But for something like this, why not?
Wait, I talked you into Godzilla?
No, probably not. I don't know. Maybe if Jen were interested, sure. Like, we love cheesy movies. Like, our favorite movies are the Fast and the Furious movies. So,
fair point.
I mean, it might be right up our alley. Who knows? Do I have to pay for Godzilla, or is it on one of the streaming services that I already have?
I think it's on Max.
I think I still have Max. Okay. Might have to try that. All right. Well, that's it for what I've been doing in my entertainment center. So let's get into all of the ways that you can get a hold of us. So I mentioned at the top of the show that one of the pieces of feedback we also received on Mastodon. That is the primary place where you're going to find Richard. He's at Richard Gunther over there. I'm there too. I'm just not nearly as active on the socials as Richard is. But I'm on Twitter also at Josh Pollard. And so is the website at Digimedia Zone. We're also on YouTube. You can watch the full-length episodes on YouTube, and we occasionally cut out certain segments and make them individual YouTube videos. So head on over to YouTube, like and subscribe to the channel. We're doing this live whenever we can. It's typically Tuesdays or Wednesdays around 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then, you can find all of this contact information over at the website, where you can also find Richard's other podcast.
Finally, I got a new episode of Home On out. This is the one that I've been talking about with Allison Sheridan. It was so much fun to record. And as I was finally getting through the edit, I'm reminded of how much fun we had recording it. So I'm glad we got it out. I think it was great. I did have to do some edits so that it didn't seem out of time. But, you know, that's just commonplace for me nowadays. And we also got a new episode of the Smart Home Show out recently. So you can check both of those out.
Yeah. I checked them both out. I listened to all of them, obviously. Yeah, the one with Allison Sheridan, the episode of Home On with her, it was really fun. It was really fun.
She is just such a delight. She's one of my favorite people to see and meet at conferences when we're there together. But she's, this is what she does. This is her, she's retired. This is her and her husband's business now. They do the podcast stuff for their retirement business, and they have such a good time doing it. They're both incredibly nice people. The other thing that I love about Allison is she just says what's on her mind. Like if she doesn't like something, she's going to tell you. And I also love that about her.
Absolutely. Well, head on over to thedigitalmediazone.com to find all of that content, because that's going to do it for episode 653. He's Richard Gunther, and I'm Josh Pollard. Thanks for listening to Entertainment 2.0. Adios.
Goodbye.